Good morning. Welcome to TERRA at Home and happy Thanksgiving weekend. I'm here with Michelle James from TERRA and we're going to get a little crafty right now. You're going to give us some good ideas for glassware.
So yeah, some different ideas. We all have glass in our homes, like whether it's drinking glasses or vases or things like that. And we always kind of just leave them as glass.
Yes.
There's so many things that you can do with those things, right? So, and simple things, like don't take a lot of work. Grab a glue gun, grab a little bit of glue, some yarn. I mean, it can be really, really simple.
You're pretty crafty and creative sometimes, so I'm curious to see what you're coming up with today.
Well, I guess I'm going to tell you my favorites first. So I love this idea with taking the jute and actually you just do one dab of glue at the bottom and you wind and then you do one at the top and it changes a vase into something different.
It does.
I did a couple of those with some arrangements in them for gifts in the summertime as hostess gifts. And it's
I've done that with
nice.
mason jars, so
same
kind of thing, and it looks
fun.
Because we're still so into those natural fibers right now. It's so easy and so nice to do.
Well, and you're reusing too, right? So, which is really nice. I love the idea of putting your pasta out on the counter. Lots of people are real pasta lovers. So embellishing up your pasta bowl, and this was as simple as getting the embellishments and just gluing them on there.
Okay, oh, that's
so
cool,
really simple. Kind of looks a little different, especially if you're going to be using it. Maybe it's apples or whatever that you're going to be using all weekend for cooking and things like that, and you have them there, you're ready, and go for it. So.
I think that's what's so nice about it. It's so nice to put apples out on the counter. Obviously, we know they can't last for too long. Same thing with lemons, right? We take a big glass jar like that and fill it with lemons, but
they don't last.
They don't last that long, so I'm going to use pretend
Unless
ones.
you shellac them.
That's right. Give them a little coating.
I really like the idea of doing the leaves on glass. So the leaves have started falling off the trees, obviously, and there's lots of different colors, and it's just Mod Podge. So you're taking it and you're putting it on there and then slap on whatever you'd like. You could do tissue paper, you could do photographs, you could do anything.
That's fun.
But
that's good
I like
to incorporate kids, right?
You could do that with kids for
Especially
sure.
this time of year when the leaves are just so beautiful and you know, you can go out and kick around in them and be able to grab some and do all kinds of fun crafts. But that's a neat idea.
And we just added candles to the back of that. But you could do anything. I have a glass like that at home. I've got pencil crayons all lined in the inside, like glued to the inside, and then I've got a notepad and my pens, and it's on the counter and it doesn't look like a notepad and pens, right? It's something fun.
That's cute.
So,
because really
it can, you know, you don't want all of this stuff out, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
Another thing you can do with kids that are really fun, and my daughter actually helped me with these, which I think is a really fun idea. It's as simple as using Q-tips. I picked up the Q-tip one, not purposely, but using Q-tips and paint, and you're just dabbing it on like they're stamps. But it's so easy because you don't have to wash them and you just throw them out after, which is great. You can do different colors. It doesn't take very long. You can use whatever kind of paint you want. I did those ones up for spare bathroom because I thought, well, that will be sort of colorful, and it doesn't necessarily scream Thanksgiving colors, but it's nice to have some brightness too in the fall as well, right?
It does. Absolutely.
We always think of everything as being very natural in the fall, and I'm like, I like the colors still.
I know, I've already switched. My house was switched over really, really early. Season, boom, fall.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, it's coming, right? Like it's winter's coming. We're in fall. It's crazy. Another idea is giving a gift in a glass jar that then the person can reuse. So I just used some salt and some kitchen tea towels and things like that, things that you would use in your kitchen as a hostess gift or as a gift for a friend or whatever. Maybe you're going somewhere for Thanksgiving weekend and you want to take a gift. That's what I'm doing this weekend. So something like that's going with me to my friend's cottage.
You know, and that's the thing. That's a really easy thing to do because, like, while you're here and you're picking up, say some beautiful flowers or whatever it may be, grab one of those glass jars, and there are so many cool little things that you can just throw in it.
Absolutely, right? You could do a kitchen thing, you could do a seed thing, a planters thing, whatever, right? There's lots of different ideas, so that makes it really fun. I mean, you can also just do plants in glass as well, which can be really amazing, especially in like the large terrarium. And it's an apple, so it's suitable, right? And another gift-giving idea.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, so obviously you've been crafty here with the glue gun as well.
Yeah, crafty with the glue gun, with the acorns. So the idea behind this actually started with, you can turn around and see that it's a simple glass, and you add in the acorns onto it. And if you didn't want to use it as a jar, which it kind of becomes a little challenging as a jar, fill it with some oils and put some reed diffusers in it, and then you have a really cool diffuser, fragrance diffuser in the house. So
like
something a little bit different. a little bit more time consuming, and you don't want to use the hot glue gun with the kids.
Yeah, no.
That one is a no-no.
Bad idea.
Very bad idea.
Paint on Q-tips, fine. Glue gun with children, no.
No, not a good idea. Using food, again, just putting food out on the counter in glass. This is a simple glass jar that ultimately could be very just boring sitting there, and then you fill it up with your lentils or your beans for your pea soup or something like that. I did this in a mason jar because I didn't quite want to use as much sand as it would take to do in any of these.
Sure.
But doing the different colors of play sand, and you get the different layers of color, and then you could pick out stems. Like you could fill anything like that up with the different layers, put in stems, or for that matter, just leave it as a piece of art on the counter with the different colors in it.
Yep.
So yeah, it does use a little bit more sand. You'd have to be prepared with that.
Like that.
That's a really fun one to do with the kids too, because you can put the funnel, and you can turn the funnel sort of different ways to get the color in different spots.
Yeah, I could see that.
I have a counter full of these right now in different sizes and colors. Yep, that was last weekend's crafts.
You're gonna turn your daughter into super crafty mom, just like you.
She loves it. It becomes messy, but so we saw the yarn balls here. So you're gonna add some lights in there, and I'm gonna show you how easy it is.
So these are the cool lights that we sell here. I love these. As I say, I bought some, but I hadn't figured out what I wanted to do with them yet. So you're saying we can kind of just
tuck the box in behind there, and you're literally just pinning into a styrofoam ball and winding the yarn around, and you create something different that no one else is going to necessarily think of or see in their own home. I usually try and get 2 pins in here, and you end up hiding them by the time you're done. But you just wind and wind and wind and wind. It's not going as easily for me on TV as it should be.
Tedious, Michelle.
Well, it's fun on the TV. Why not?
Sure.
Just keep on going, and then you have a really cool colored, and these colors of yarn are really fun too for the fall. You could do bright colors as well. We always forget that reds are still really vibrant, the vibrant yellows and things like that in the fall as well.
Well, this is all just completely transferable then over to Christmas as well, right?
Right.
You can take all these ideas and turn it into Christmas. And
well, you think about like each of these items. Yeah, you could
use pine cones.
Use pine cones. You could use greenery on there. You could still do gifts in a jar. You could have cookies on the counter, and maybe put a chalkboard sticker on it that says cookies.
Well, that's the thing. You really take this from what it is now, you turn it into Halloween, then you go from there to Christmas, and we all know as soon as one holiday is over this time of year, it's like bam, bam, bam.
It is.
We'll be thinking Christmas in just a couple of weeks. You'll be back on here doing some more Christmas things.
I will. We'll be like, okay, let's reuse these jars again. Let's see.
Here we go. So we have lots of glassware, Tara, and lots of good ideas, and you can make yarn balls. I'm going to expect you to make Christmas ones for us, okay? And yeah, just incorporating some really cool ideas. I like the idea of using just everyday items, food items, as you say, lentils and pastas and rices and all kinds of neat things like that.
Simple.
And then look what we have. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're so crafty. That's it for now. We'll have more Tara at home to come.
Live color fully at TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Erika MacKay, and you are head of the Ladies Entrepreneur Group of Hamilton.
Yes.
So tell me exactly who goes there. Obviously, it's people looking to kind of get a bit of a kickstart, some advice on starting a business or within their business.
Yeah, so a lot of our members are actually existing entrepreneurs, so they have businesses in all different industries, and they've decided to join our group to help themselves and to help other businesses and to be a supportive network.
So all women, and so sometimes how does this work? Like, how would you, do you have meetings? Is it a structured meeting so like everybody can sit down and sort of brainstorm together?
Yeah, exactly. So it started out, so I work out of a co-working space called Platform 302.
Yes.
And that's where we hold these meetings, but we have businesses from all over Hamilton that come to them.
Okay.
And we hold brainstorming sessions, but also each meeting has a topic.
Okay.
So it could be like human resources, for example, or social media, and we'll bring in a speaker to give some information on that topic and then to guide the discussion a little bit.
Okay, that's great, right? I think whenever we have ideas like that, so we've started off with sort of a platform on where we're at the direction of the day, then people can sort of plan in advance, and I'm sure there's all kinds of wonderful information, good and bad, right? Because people are coming in saying, okay, this has happened to me, and this and this and this, so don't do this. But again, everyone's business is very specific.
Exactly, totally. I mean, we've definitely found that people have common issues.
Sure.
So our first meeting was just to get a list of what do you want to learn about, and that was really successful, and we were able to find experts in all of those areas to help us.
Okay, so when we're looking at some of the businesses that are coming in, how vast are these? What are we talking about in terms of?
Yeah, all different sizes. Some of them are like a one-man show kind of business.
Sure.
Some of them have number of employees, and they're in all different industries.
Okay.
So we have graphic designers, interior designers, we have retail establishments, there's a yoga and fitness studio, quite a number of industries that are represented in our group,
really
which is
cool.
good. It's different perspectives, right?
Yeah, but it's amazing how you can gain some information from somebody that you would never think could offer you anything positive
Absolutely.
for your business, but somehow they can tie in.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
so now you guys have come up with some interesting points. That's just some really good tips for some of our viewers at home. Maybe somebody interested in possibly becoming a member, but also just hey, what, I have a small business, I'm struggling here or there, or I want to open my own business, I don't know where to start. You have some sort of basic ideas that we can give people.
For sure.
Okay.
The best tip I can give is to build your business community. So whether that's through networking in different business groups or getting involved in your local professional organizations, joining a co-working space, look for every opportunity to talk about your business and your ideas. You really just never know what kind of advice you can get, and it's so valuable.
I can see that. Networking is huge, and you never underestimate. You can't be hiding under a shell and expecting to flourish, right?
No, just doesn't work.
Okay, so that's good. And obviously, as you say, having that co-working space and you're always around people, and that's going to help a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
One of the other tips is to, in relation to that, not necessarily to listen to everything that you hear. I've heard a lot of people say that building a business is kind of like raising children in some ways, because everyone has ideas on the tools and methods that you could be utilizing, and you need to be able to look at those suggestions objectively, because they are valuable, and figure out what really works for you.
Right, because again, everything falls into place at different times for people, and your business isn't exactly the same as somebody else's, just as your child isn't the same as somebody else's.
Exactly.
And you can't rear them the same way. So just take the information. I think information is key, so always be open to information, but as you say, take it with a grain of salt and apply what is needed when necessary.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Okay. Another piece of advice I would give to someone who's considering starting a business or growing a business is not to wait for the right time, because there is no right time. It's never going to be a perfect situation, and so to be able to take whatever resources and time you do have available and start it. So even if it's just a couple hours a week, take the plunge. Spend a couple hours a week doing business development or market research or whatever it is, because those small steps are what will ultimately get you to having your entrepreneur dreams realized, right?
And I imagine that the more planning you do, the more research you do, taking that time, but at least you're moving forward. You also don't want to jump into something too quickly sometimes too without enough information and experience.
Yeah, for sure. It's small steps. It always has to be small steps.
Okay, and then it's funny because they say that about kids too. Everybody always waits for the right time to have a child, and there really isn't everyone.
You know what? That's so true. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
It's kind of the same thing. So another one is really in relation to starting and growing your business, and being honest with yourself about the day-to-day tasks that you're good at and enjoy, but also about the tasks that you're maybe not so good at or maybe really just don't like doing. And when we start out, for financial reasons, typically we do everything, but quickly you'll find that you need to be able to delegate things either to another business or to staff. And so being honest with yourself about things that maybe you're not that good at or don't like, even though it's hard to do that sometimes, is so important if you're going to grow.
I could see that. So a lot of times people are opening their own business driven by passion for something maybe creative that they do.
Sure.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they know how to run a business.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So they can maybe they're an awesome dancer. They want to open up a dance studio, but yeah, sure, they can dance. They can do choreography. They can set up everything, but doesn't mean that they can make all the business operations run smoothly. So that's where you maybe need to have some advice. You maybe need to have a partner come in, somebody that can run the books for you, right? So you can't do it all.
Absolutely. You said it perfectly. You can't do it all, and that's what it comes down to.
I could see that being really hard, and it is hard for people who are creative to let go of some of that control sometimes too, right? I think delegating is a very, very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, it can be.
So often, I guess, if you're sitting around a panel of people can give you some advice. Trust me, you do not want to try to do this on your own. Been there, done that, messed that up, almost lost my business, whatever. So maybe try to, and again, just even connections with actual people, right? Recommending somebody they've worked with even that could give them a little bit more advice.
Yeah, absolutely. With our group, that's been really helpful because it's such a varied group of businesses.
Sure.
We're able to fill in the blanks for each other a little bit. And some of our presenters have actually even been people from the group. Like one of our first presentations was by another member, Suzanne, who owns a social media marketing company called The Generator. And that was so well received. So many people recognize that social media is important, but don't necessarily have the skills or the time to take care of it. So that was one of the things that people can pass on.
You know what? That's another big one on its own. Yes, you're right. The social media side of things now.
It's huge.
People can't even take care of their own personal social media, never mind running their business side. And it's so key now. People look up right away. That's the first thing you do now when you hear about a business is you look up everything about it. So we all know back in the day when some people didn't have websites yet, and then, oh, hey, they got to have a website. They got to have this. Now you have to have everything, and you have to be on top of it on a regular basis. If you're not, you're falling behind the other guy.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. And websites is another good one anyways, yeah.
I can imagine. Because that's your first contact at this point, right? So you need to do it well.
Yeah, and that's another one that I think, and I'm guilty of this too, I tried to do my own website initially, and it was not worth my time. I ended up eventually hiring someone.
That's why we have those people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, before we go, again, we're reminded that your group is located in Hamilton. Any last-minute tip for anybody that?
Just if they'd like to be part of the group and would like to find us, you can look us up on Facebook. We're Ladies Entrepreneur Book, and we hope that you'll join us.
Okay, that's good enough. People can come in, and don't be afraid, right? Even if you're in your early 20s and you want to start up a business, like go for it. Don't be scared, as you say. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Jump right in and get some advice from people, and it's good to have sort of an arsenal of people around you to help you get through some of the tough times. As we know, small business is not always easy, but it is definitely attainable. So
yeah,
good
absolutely.
to have the group in Hamilton. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to be back with more Terra at Home to come right after this quick break.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning. Welcome to Terra at Home. I'm here with Chef Mark from La Piazza Allegra restaurant in Hamilton, and it is Thanksgiving weekend. Everybody's doing all their preparations. some people are looking for some alternative ideas for Thanksgiving. It's not just the traditional turkey for everybody.
No, it's not. We have a lot of requests at the restaurant to do catering outside of your traditional turkey dinner. And I guess, you know, if people had enough turkey or they're just not into it, they're looking for something unique and something special. So what I've decided to do today is do a dish that we run around Thanksgiving and into the fall, and that is a sea bass done over a pumpkin puree. We have some rapini that's going to offset this the sweetness of everything, with a little bit of sage.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different.
And that's the thing. So say you are still already set to cook your turkey this weekend. This is something that I'm sure a lot of people at home are saying, you know what, I want to try this. It's great. It's a light dish. It's actually very healthy. Yep. So it's something, as you say, that you can carry through into the fall months that you enjoy.
Exactly. So I'll bring you up to speed what I've done. Okay. So these were this was pumpkin, okay, and what I did is I peeled it, took all the seeds out, put it into a bowl, put a little bit of kosher salt, some pepper, a little bit of brown sugar, okay, and I put a touch of nutmeg into this one, okay, and then I roasted it. All right. Once it roasted, it was nice and soft. I took it from there, I put it into a food processor, and I added a little bit of vegetable stock and pureed the whole thing. So we end up with this nice puree. Now this is something that you can definitely do ahead of time, okay, so that you have that ready to go, and then you just do a reheat on it, okay, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Okay. We have our fish, a nice sea bass fillet here. It's still got the skin on, okay, and we're going to use that skin because we're going to sear that side first, and then we're going to flip it over and sear the other side, okay? Yes. We have some vegetable stock. We're going to need that for the rapini, and we're just going to wilt that down. So you have something here. These two dishes, or these two items for this dish, are very savory, sweet. There's a real buttery flavor to the sea bass and everything. So by adding this rapini, you're going to get a little bit of tartness, a little bit of bitterness, and that'll help balance that dish out for you. Okay. And then the other thing I did here is I made a very light corn coulis, okay? Ooh. So what I did there is I just took a little bit of shallots, I put it into a pan, sauteed the shallots, I took fresh corn off the cob, put it in, cooked it down so it was still a little bit firm, okay, but had a little bit of sweetness pulled out of it. Okay. Then we added a little bit of cream to that, pureed it in the food processor, and I sent it through a wire sieve so you get all the little particles out of it. To get all the particles out of it, and you just end up with this nice light sweet coulis. So
that's great. That's very easy to do.
Really, really simple. And when you add that sugar there, you got a little bit of sugar here, then just bitterness of this and savoriness of the sage.
Very nice.
It'll all come together as one beautiful dish for Thanksgiving.
Okay, before we start, I want to go back to all the way back to the pumpkin stage. Yes. And people are looking at squashes and pumpkins sitting these hard exterior on their kitchen counter, and they're like, how do I get into these sometimes without like chopping off some fingers and that? You're talking about peeling it. How did you peel it, first of all?
I just use my band peeler, my regular band peeler that we just whip around, and if it's a good quality peeler, it'll go right through that skin. Do not try to do it with a knife. You will hack. Now, what I did do is I bought small pumpkins. I didn't buy the pumpkins that you would turn into jack-o'-lanterns because you know that skin gets really, really thick on it. But when you get the smaller ones, the ones that you'd use for pies and baking and stuff like that, they're a little bit softer. They're easier to deal with. It's like peeling any squash.
Okay, so that's easy enough. So then you do that, and then you're able. I remember one time you said a tip. You could also use a serrated knife to get through, and I actually did that just last night with my spaghetti squash. I'm like thinking of Mark in my kitchen, and I cut it, and it was so much easier, and I felt like less dangerous. I could actually have control of my knife, so that's always good too. Or a really sharp knife. Right?
Your regular chef knife does go through it, but it you know, especially being round, it'll rock a bit. So with the serrated knife, you know, you just let the knife do the work, back and forth, and it'll go right through your squashes.
Good stuff. All right, we shall move on now.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm taking the stems off of the rapini, and all I'm doing is I'm putting them into a pan. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. We're going to add a little bit of cracked pepper here. And then I'm going to add some vegetable stock, and this is just going to help it wilt down. So very simple flavor.
So no oil?
No oil in this one yet. We're going to wilt it down with this first, and then I'm going to add some olive oil at the end just to give it that nice glow. Okay? Now, the squash itself, we're going to give it a reheat, but we're going to do that in a pan with some butter.
Just a little bit of butter.
A little bit of butter. I'm going to do a good amount of squash here.
I'm just bugging you. Butter's awesome.
Can't go wrong with butter.
No, I love it.
But what this is going to do with that butter is you're going to end up getting a real nice coating on this as well. So mix that around, and we're gonna give it a good fry now. There we go. And then we have our fish.
Okay.
So with the fish, we're gonna take a little bit of salt. We're gonna take our peppermill, and we're just gonna season that. We have our fresh sage. I'm gonna take some of the sage. And you don't need a lot. I mean, you already have a nice savory flavor with the butter and everything that's going into the pumpkin as is. But I do want this velvety.
Sage is pretty powerful.
Sage is pretty powerful. So I'm gonna just roll that up. And we'll give it a nice. We'll throw some of that in there.
And this will
we'll
make it
reserve
smell
that
like
for the top.
Thanksgiving in your house for sure.
It does. Sage is a
Right?
perfect Thanksgiving herb to use. It goes well. If you are making a turkey, I use a lot of it to brine my turkey in. So when I make my turkey brine, a lot of fresh sage goes in, cook that down, get that flavor in there. It just goes really well. And of course, sage, I love sage with pork as well.
Yes.
And we're just gonna fry that up.
Okay.
Now the sea bass itself does not take a really long time to cook. You don't want to overcook this, okay? Nice fresh piece of sea bass like this should only take about 4 or 5 minutes tops to cook. And when you flake it away, it should have a little bit of coolness right in the middle of it. You don't have to cook it well done and make it dry.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm just gonna shift that over, and we're gonna add a touch of butter.
And again, you said skin on, so you're going to be cooking it skin down first?
Skin side down.
Okay.
That's right. I'm just gonna put some butter into the pan, and we're gonna let that brown up a little bit.
Okay.
And that's gonna help give it a nice coating and a little bit of crispiness.
All right, so we're going to head to break. We're going to allow that to cook. So you said maybe just a couple minutes per side?
Just a couple minutes per
And
side.
then you're good to go. Okay, we'll come back and we'll plate this all together and put together your alternative Thanksgiving meal.
That's
We'll be
right.
back.
Live color fully at Terra, where color lives.
Good morning, welcome back to Terra at Home. I'm back with Chef Mark, and being Thanksgiving weekend, we came up with another type of dish instead of your average turkey dinner.
Yeah, exactly. So we finished cooking our sea bass. Now I'm adding a touch of olive oil just to give a little bit of silkiness to the rapini as well.
Okay.
And now we're gonna plate this.
All
So
right.
here's that pumpkin puree, and we got a pumpkin here from Terra
Yes.
to show you which one I used. And these are, like I said, the skin on that's not too hard. It's
Right.
pretty easy to deal with. So
So you don't want
that's
to
what you're
be
looking for.
bringing a giant pumpkin into your kitchen and trying to peel that. So keep it small.
Keep it small. It's easier for you to work with, for sure. There's that rapini.
And as you say, this is going to create that balance because there's a lot of sweetness, as we know,
There's a lot of sweetness
in
and
different types
savory.
of squashes and pumpkins. So this is going to give us that little.
That's right. And then we have
Hit.
our fish.
Great part, again, about fish, particularly sea bass, cooks so quickly. You don't want to overcook it.
No, you definitely don't want to
Look at
overcook
that,
it.
it's beautiful.
And I'm just going to take this corn coulis.
Okay. As you're doing that, I just want to remind everybody that you can grab this recipe on our website at terragreenhouses.com so you can try it out. Even if you have turkey in mind for this weekend, this is something maybe you can try out next week or next weekend because it incorporates all the flavors of fall that we love. A little bit of coziness, but still, some really healthy components. So that's
And a little
beautiful.
fresh sage on top, just so
Look at
people know
that.
what they're eating.
Exactly. I like how you do that, right? So people know there's sage in there. You'll be able to smell it in the kitchen, and it's going to be Thanksgiving written all over that.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be turkey.
Doesn't have to be turkey.
Thanks, Chef Mark. That's it for now. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you this weekend. We'll see you next weekend.